Hi everyone, it's Terry here from nutsaboutsstamping.com. In today's video, I'm going to take a break from showing you techniques and I'm going to show you how to create a gorgeous Christmas card idea using the Poinsettia Petals bundle. And the interesting thing about this card is I'm actually only going to use one of the phrases from this stamp set, but I'm going to use the fabulous dies for the image on my card, or the focal image on my card. I think this set of dies is absolutely amazing because not only does it cut, but it also at the same time has these little inserts that you can use to emboss. So it does double duty. It does die cutting and it does embossing in one single step. So I'm going to show you how this all works to make this Christmas card. Let me clean this up for a little bit here. My card base is going to be Old Olive. I've cut it 8.5 by 5.5 and I've scored it on the 4 1/4 mark. And my card is going to be a landscape layout. To that, I'm going to add a piece of real red. These are basically my go-to colors for Christmas cards. I absolutely love Old Olive and Real Red. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you the exact same card using a different color combination so you have a couple of ideas to play with. Now what I want to do is take this Real Red layer. I could leave it just plain on my plain card base, but it's not quite elegant enough for the kind of look and feel I want for my Christmas card. So I'm going to emboss the Real Red layer using the Tin Tile 3D embossing folder. So let's do that first. I've got my Big Shot platform. I'm going to put my Real Red inside the folder and just sort of line it up. Now I chose this folder because it has, I think, there's an image, an embossed image in the folder that looks very close to the poinsettia shape. So I thought it would be fun to emboss using this folder, and then I'll have a matching shape that's embossed with the image of the poinsettia that we'll be creating next. And there we go. You see this sort of little flower in the center? To me, that's sort of similar to the poinsettia, and it actually will work really well on this card. So I'm going to set this layer aside for a bit, and now we're going to do some die cutting using the dies in the bundle. So I'll get my Big Shot all set up. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. All right, so I have 3 squares. I have a large square, and I have a medium-sized square, and I have a small square. I'm going to set the small square aside for a moment, and I'm just going to die cut the big and the medium. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the largest poinsettia flower, and then I'm going to take the medium poinsettia flower and place one on each of my squares. And then I'm going to take the insert for the large one and pop it in, and then take the medium one, do the same with the medium one, like so. And then I'm going to put on my top cutting plate and I'm going to run it through. And let me show you how this looks. So you see it quickly cuts the flower, but this second plate, what it does is it embosses the flower. Can you see you've got the veins in there? I just think that's so cool. And then it obviously, for the medium-sized one, like so. Hopefully you can see it in the video. Now, what I need to do next then is I need to take my smallest Real Red square and I'm going to put the smallest die and its insert. Sometimes you have to turn the insert to find the correct fit. There we go. I did see another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who took a black Sharpie and she marked on the leaf and marked on the outside of the die to line up so she would know exactly the perfect placement for the insert. For me, it's not that difficult, but for others it might be. And then I have a scrap piece of old olive, and I'm going to do the same. I've got the large leaf, so there's a leaf image, but there's also a leaf insert. So it's going to do the same on the leaves. It is going to die cut the leaf and emboss it. All right, so I'm going to run that through next, and then I've got one more step. So this card is really easy because really all you're going to do is a bunch of die cutting. Okay, so there's the small poinsettia, and then here's what the leaf looks like. Hopefully you can see the veins in it. Now I've got one more step, and that is I want to take one of the largest circle from the Stitched Shapes Framelits pack, or the dies, and I want to die cut the circle out, and then I'll be ready to put my card together. Now before the video began, I did a second leaf so that you wouldn't have to sit and watch me die cut and die cut and die cut over and over. All right, so I've got my old olive card base, I've got my real red embossed layer, I've got my stitched circle, and then I have my poinsettias, and I have 2 leaves. As I said, I did one before the video began so that you wouldn't have to spend time watching me do it another time through my Big Shot. Now I'm also going to take a leftover strip of old olive, and as I said at the beginning of the video, I took one of the phrases from the Poinsettia Petals stamp set, and it says "Warm wishes from our home to yours." And I'm going to take my old olive ink, so I'm doing tone on tone, old olive on old olive. I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to stamp it down on the right-hand side of this strip. I'll set that aside for a minute, and now I think I'm ready to go ahead and assemble my card. So let's do that. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, add some adhesive to my layer, and got my real red like that, and then I'm going to take my strip with my phrase, add some adhesive to the strip, and I'm going to put my strip across the middle like so. Then I'm going to add my circle. Now I could pop up the circle, but I'm not going to because I am going to use Stampin' Dimensionals on my poinsettias. So I'm going to put my circle on the left-hand side of my card like so. And then I am going to take my largest poinsettia. I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional right in the center of it. And then I am going to put my medium poinsettia. Now you're going to be able to see the Stampin' Dimensional through, but don't worry about that because your eye will be detracted away from that in a minute. And now I'm going to add my smallest so that I've created a really nice 3D. So I put a Stampin' Dimensional on the biggest one, then added the medium, another Stampin' Dimensional underneath, and then I put the smallest one on. And then I'm going to turn the whole flower over, add one final Stampin' Dimensional, and then I'm going to put it onto the Old Olive stitched shape circle. Now I've got these 2 leaves, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck one leaf under like that, and the second leaf, there we go, I'm going to add up here, keeping in mind that I have to tuck my card in an envelope so I don't want it to spill over the edge. And you can see it's really taking shape nicely. And then the last thing I want to do is I have some of these large pearls, and I want to add a large pearl to the center of my flower. I needed to get my take your pick tool. It was behind me. I forgot to put it on my table. And I'll add a pearl to the center of my poinsettia flower to complete my card. Isn't that just gorgeous? Very minimal stamping, lots of die cutting, but that's so simple to do, and it creates this beautiful 3D effect on this flower. I absolutely love this card. Now, I did say at the beginning of the video that I would show you a different color combination for Christmas. If Old Olive and Real Red is not your favorite color combo, then what about Mossy Meadow and Cherry Cobbler? So here's the same card done with a different color combination. I would love if you would leave me a comment under this video and tell me which color combination is your favorite, Old Olive and Real Red, or Cherry Cobbler and Mossy Meadow. For me, I don't know. I love both of them. But you leave me a comment and tell me which color combo you prefer. If you'd like a complete listing of the supplies that I used and the measurements for all of the cardstock pieces, head on over to my blog, www.nutsaboutsstamping.com. While you're on my blog, I invite you to subscribe to my free newsletters. I send 2 newsletters a week with a project idea you won't see anywhere else. And if you want to order the Poinsettia Petals bundle from my online store, I'll leave a link underneath this video in the description box so that you can link over to my online store and purchase the products you need to make this card. I'm Terry. I am nuts about stamping. I hope you'll get started on your Christmas cards soon too. Bye for now.